All right. And so we begin the first part, of Chapter 4. Now, the Civil War was fought between Northern Americans, the Yankees, and the Southern Americans, the Confederates. Now, the war was fought on land during the 1860s, and the Southerners, of course, they needed slaves to work their large plantations. But in the North, the farms were smaller, and the crops were varied, so slavery was a lot less common. And they thought that slavery was very evil, which, of course, it is. The Southerners wanted to break away and be their own country, but President Abraham Lincoln was determined to maintain the Union. Right there. Hi, Abe. Come here a second. Would you? Yeah. Everybody, a big round of applause for former POTUS.
The president.
I turned on my microphone off.
It's good to meet you, sir. So, tell us a little bit about your plan to free the slaves.
Well, our plan to free the slaves is, well, however, sadly, we are in a war due to attack on Fort Sumter. And right now we need to... I decided to write the Emancipation Proclamation.
Oh, the Emancipation Proclamation.
To free them.
Well, that's very, very generous of you. Are you very excited about this, about the outcome of this possible war?
Yes, I hope that the outcome is good.
Ah, good. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. President. A big hand. Yes, very good.
Yay!
It's not every day you get to meet the man who freed the slaves, let me tell you. So the Southern armies, of course, don't tell him yet, but they surrendered, and the Northern armies won in 1865, and the states remained in the Union.
You cold?
All right. The country was divided. Yes, it was civil war, and Edward was getting ready to leave to fight.
I have been called off to fight for the Union.
And so have I.
That's right, John, other soldier. No relation.
And Edward.
That's right. We can only hope that we can fight bravely, although truly I hope that the war is already over by the time we finish this long march.
I don't want to go out there, man.
Me neither, man. I don't want to go out there, man. I don't even know what's going on, man.
Ah.
It's bad.
Yeah.
It's a bad scene, man. It's a bad scene. Come on, let's march.
And they did. They marched in a big circle.
It feels like we're just going in circles.
This isn't even hard.
No, no, that military's pretty easy so far.
And then they marched to Fort Wayne, where they received supplies like rifles, ammunition, boots, and their uniforms.
Fort Wayne, far more entertaining than Fort Garth.
And guns.
Yes, guns.
Lots
Come,
of guns.
let's practice loading our guns. Okay,
And
so
they
you
did. They
take
learned how to load their guns.
Yep.
They learned sort of how to fire their guns.
All right, let's sort of fire. Nope, not that way.
Ready?
Yeah, ready?
I don't know. Are you ready?
Oh, whew, that's got a kickback, doesn't it?
Lost your hat, man.
I know, man. It was a bad scene, man. All right, well, all I can hope is that by the time we're deployed, the war is already won, and Abraham Lincoln has freed the slaves, if only we're that lucky.
And they
yeah.
weren't.
Oh, we're not?
No. They
Dang.
marched on to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
To Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Huzzah.
Far more interesting than Fort Garth. All right, it's time for the battle. Are you ready, John?
Are you ready, Edward?
Yes, let's be brave. All right.
And they fought. And they fought. And their general gave a rousing speech.
Oh, great speech, General. Thank you, I'm roused
I
for
can't hear
combat.
him.
You couldn't hear him?
No, what do you say?
You're not inspired for combat?
Combat?
John, look out!
No, I'm going in. Phil, I'm going in.
No! No! John! John! Stay with me!
He was talking a lot for a guy who'd been shot in the head.
I know! Apparently you've been shot in the head. Oh, all right. No! I'm not gonna lose you!
But he
Oh, I
did.
lost him.
And he mourned his friend for a moment, then collected himself
No,
and concentrated on his mission.
that's right. I can't sit here mourning over some dead guy. I barely knew him. For all those months we trained together, I have to fight the good fight. I have to stand strong for my Commander-in-Chief, Abraham Lincoln, for the colony of Michigan, for all free people. Ow! Ow!
And he was shot in the shoulder.
Ah!
It really hurt. A lot.
Ah!
And he went to the medics who took him to the hospital,
All right.
dragging his poor friend behind him the whole way.
Don't worry, John. I will treat you with respect.
Oh my. Now, in 1860, people were just beginning to realize that germs caused illnesses. Now, anesthetics were for putting patients to sleep for surgery, and it was only a recent development that antibiotics wouldn't be invented until 1940. And most people who became ill got treated at home. Doctors came by horse and buggy, and many children and adults did die from infectious diseases like strep throat and pneumonia. Few people lived past the age of 50. Ugh. So you can see why getting shot would be a really serious problem. So while he was in the hospital, Edward wrote to his family, and they received the letter,
I'm good.
which read as follows.